I'm just watching these cops, seeing what's going on over here. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not actually watching cops, but I was watching cops earlier. I'm walking down the road. There was an incident down here, and so one of these cops around town that I know, my brother and I were kind of monitoring, making sure they don't abuse people, right? And I walk by him, and I say, Pat, be nice, because we know this cop. If you search for Pat Kennedy on my channel, you'll see interactions I've had with this cop. Not good stuff. But he says, I'm always nice, and he mentioned something that he did that was nice, right? And, that was going around town plowing people's driveways or something. And I'm like, yeah, that was good. That's serving. And then Nathan says, well, there was that time you kidnapped me, though, because he'd arrested him once. And he said, it's not kidnapping if you don't intend to keep the person. And I'm like, wait, what? Does it work that way for us? You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. Okay, let's head in. Whoa, garbage, major full. Okay, but that's all right. Let's get in. I'll have a better, thanks guys, I see you. I'll have a better connection here inside. And first things first, I got a couple things I want to tell you. I'm going to pop it on here though, and I'm going to make coffee because I haven't had my proper coffee today. So I'm going to pop in here. I've got it already, I think. Where's my portafilter? I like my lattes. So we're gonna do that, and it's dark in here. Cyrus, go turn on that other light over there. Well, yeah, it's crazy dark in here. Here, if I go like that. There we go. We're set now, and there's my wife. She's hot. Anyways, we are getting it going here. Let me just make some coffee as I'm talking. There's my portafilter. Okay, so listen. Here, I'm gonna grind it fresh. That's always the best way to do it. In fact, I've got the Sete from Baratza, and it's pre-timed, so it does exactly 5.99 seconds of grinding, which is about 18 grams of espresso right there. It makes a really, really good grind, and I will tamp that down. I'm missing all my stuff. So anyways, what I wanted to talk to you guys about, I'm just gonna talk as I cook here. What I wanted to talk to you about is the laws, these laws that these crazy legislators come up with and then our cops enforce, right? There's a new law in Washington. Now get this. It's okay for the cops to drive down the road while eating, while drinking a soda, while shooting you with a radar gun, while in a high-speed chase and watching their computer screen. That is perfectly legal. But they've got a new law. They've changed the distracted driving law in Washington, so us serfs, us normal people, we can be charged like $100 fine or something like that for eating while driving, you guys. It's absolute insanity. They can do all this stuff, right? Because they're special. They're the elite. They're the blue syndicate. We can do nothing. That's how it works. And guess what? They're calling it a DUIE. See where they're going with this? They're trying to make this great crime. They're trying to make it so anytime somebody gets in an accident, they can make it a criminal offense and make them a horrible person and make society say, oh, look what they did, right? Because accidents do happen. Sometimes they're from carelessness and sometimes they're from life. But what they're trying to do is make ordinary accidents for you and me crimes that they can put us away for if they want to. Let's not mistake it. And along the way, they're making money for their system, for the for-profit prison industrial complex, all that good stuff. So, all right, here is my latte. Just gonna do a small double shot right now. I'm going to use just some raw honey because I've been avoiding a bunch of processed stuff and sugar lately, and I'm gonna mix that up, throw something together for the kiddos here too. I'll pull a little extra here. So, here's the deal. You've got all this insanity going on. They make up their laws, but it gets better because they keep just making up more and more ridiculous things. So pretty soon, right, the Rocket here makes phenomenal espresso. Here, get a look at that. It's a good machine. Okay, so pretty soon, we are going to be in a world where everything we do, whether accident or intentional or legal, is a crime. Greg Burleson, guys, A guy got sentenced to death this week for protesting, okay? Do you understand that? Greg Burleson, who's probably in his 40s, early 50s, he got 68 years in prison. That's a life sentence. That means he will die there. He was sentenced to death in prison for protesting and Facebook posts at the Bundy Ranch, you guys. That is a death sentence for protesting. And unless that is overturned, he will die in prison. Do you understand that? That's not America. You don't have freedom to pretend that our nation is great when we're in that sort of a scenario. It is an offense to sanity, all right? It's an absolute offense to sanity. Cyrus, would you put some ice in these guys?
Got it.
And lid them up so that I can keep moving here. Okay, so
And cups and lids.
come over here and just take care of that, will ya? I've got coffee. Si's gonna finish up some chocolate milk for the other kiddos, and he's working away over there. One more thing I want to show you guys today. Not Titus, but Titus too. Say hi, Titus. Say what up? Yeah, buddy. There's Si. He's mixing some stuff up there. He's a good guy. Somewhere around here is our new one, Swan. A lot of random stuff today. This is some seasoning. I told somebody at Bible study, I was eating a seasoning salt, and I said, this seasoning salt's cruddy. I'm going to go home and make a better seasoning salt. So I did. It's my special formula, and I'm still working on it, but it is quite good. One more thing before I go to the computer and show you what I came on to show you. There she is. Look at that. Aw. Aw. But just remember, like, if you don't treat her, you know, the way the government wants, right? If the government decides they want to put us in prison because we don't give her their pharmaceuticals, we're going to be the bad guys in society. Look at that girl. Hey, baby. Hey. Dads can be really annoying, so I'm just going to, like, poke at her a little. But when she wants to sleep, I mean, she really, okay, she's like, hello. Okay, well, she's not waking up. All right, here's what I actually popped on here to show you guys. So we're talking about the laws, right? The police can do whatever they want. You go to prison for life for protesting. And get this, I was watching this story, this video today, and it struck me because it was this story about these cops in Vegas, and they shot a guy 19 times. And based on what we're seeing, you might be able to look at this and be like, okay, this guy was actually, like, had stolen a car and was shooting at them. So maybe this is the one case when this is a justified shooting. Maybe. I mean, we don't know exactly what led up to this because we're only seeing this one part. Okay? But the cops shoot this guy, and this guy is down. Now, why they have to shoot a guy 19 times, that's another question. But the guy's down, and the cop runs up, and he's immediately tending to him and putting a tourniquet on him and stuff like that. So it looks like the guy's going to survive. And people are like, oh, that's amazing. Cops are so good. Look, all these cop haters, they're full of it. And I'm like, wait a minute. Because a cop kind of does his job, like, because he might have done what he was supposed to and rendered aid to the person that he just shot, now we're supposed to celebrate the police? I don't know. I mean, great. So a cop did his job. There's this idea that because you oppose the blue and their treason, that what you're saying is that cops aren't human beings and they never do good. Just because a guy that's on the way to rob your grandmother, right? If a burglar is on the way to rob your grandmother and he helps an old lady across the street on the way, he did a good deed along the way. That doesn't mean he's not still a burglar, guys. And we got to start being realistic about how we look at that. But it gets worse. Listen to this video. I'm going to crank this up. This is Trump. I think this was today or yesterday. He is not only supporting the blue treason as his best people lock away political prisoners for life for protesting and trying to defend the Constitution, even though they use no violence and the only violent ones were the government, okay? But it gets worse. He's in here making a speech to all the blue liners, and he's telling them to use more brutality. Check that out. This is the official video here.
And when you see these towns,
these
thugs being thrown into the back of a paddy wagon, you just see them thrown in, rough. I said, please don't be too nice. Like when you guys put somebody in the car and you're protecting their head, you know, the way you put their hand over. Like, don't hit their head, and they've just killed somebody, don't hit their head. I said, you can take the hand away, okay?
Now, they're all celebrating because these terrorists love to use violence, right? And he's all like, yeah, aren't I cool? I mean, how dare we pretend that this man's making America great or that he's defending the constitutional law? He's sitting here making a speech. This is the President of the United States, and he's telling the police, please use more violence and brutality on unconvicted criminals. Don't tell me that it's patriotism to support this man. This is today, right? This is today. This is the level of treason, guys. All the blue line, it doesn't mean that a cop never does a good thing or a good deed or never has a good day. It's that their whole system is extortion and abuse and power, and the power people all the way up to the president are locking them away. And let's be very clear, the Bundys, Greg Burleson, this man who just got life in prison for protesting in defense of the Constitution. Guys, Trump's people are the one putting him there, not Obama's, not Bernie's, not Hillary's. The people Trump put in office, his administration, he could stop it anytime he wants. He could pardon anytime he wants. The asset forfeiture's increasing, right? It just goes up and up and up. The fascism grows, and as long as it's branded to us in the way we like, we say, oh, look, freedom. Okay, one last thing, a little bit on a lighter note. Let me switch over here. This is pretty sweet. Check this guy out. This is a cool board. Look, I do a lot of outdoor adventure sports, guys. I don't know if you know that, but I paraglide and all kinds of stuff. And my job as a filmmaker, as a photographer, I'm always out doing this stuff. This board, I got the sound turned off, but wow, I mean, what a cool board. It's like all-terrain. It's this big thing. It's called the One Wheel, and it's like an electric skateboard. But the reason I've never looked that too close at those is because they're not off-road enough. They're not all-terrainy enough. So I got an e-mountain bike that's pretty good. But this is this small thing with this big Herkin wheel, and wow, what a great thing for filming. I'm hearing this thing's phenomenal for doing smooth shots in our filming. And basically, it's this big one-wheel balance board, great big wheel. And it is powered. Goes like 5 to 7 miles on a charge. And so it's different. My e-bike will do like 15, 20 miles. But this is pretty small and portable, and it's kind of cool, and it looks really good for filming. I do a lot of filming work, and a good smooth shot can be very important. That's the One Wheel. I thought it looked pretty cool. If any of you guys have one, let me know. Do you have anything to say, Si? Anything good to say? No? Okay. So, all right. Bottom line. Let's bottom line it. Police can do whatever they want. They can drive distracted. They can use their computers. They can have snacks while they're driving. I mean, they should be able to. They can murder you. And if they do anything good, then it's demanded of us that we raise monuments to them and say that all cops are therefore good because one cop sometime did one good deed, even if he did 10 bad deeds in the same day. And if a cop dies, we definitely have to worship them and raise monuments to them. And the president and the politicians who say they're for the Constitution, they will be up there praising these terrorists, these blue treason syndicate members, for their crimes and saying that they're immune to the law. So that's America. That's what's left. There's no Constitution. The judges won't even let you argue that in the court. That's what's happening in the Bundy trials in Vegas. They're not even allowed to use the Constitution as a defense. They're not even allowed to bring up the names of the people who were abusing them down at the Bundy Ranch in the current trial, where they're being tried a second time because the government failed the first time. You can go to jail at any time for anything, even if you've done nothing wrong. So remember that next time you see one of these sham news articles that's parroting a police report, it's a lie. Police reports are lies. They have nothing to do with reality. They're the fake narrative. Just like the police in Wenatchee, an hour away from here, this week, they murdered a man right in front of the store. There's lots of eyewitnesses, but the cops didn't interview any of the eyewitnesses. They immediately cordoned off the area, then made up a fake narrative, pushed it out to the news media, who's now repeating it, and people are out saying, oh, he was a threat to them. They should have killed him. As long as you make excuses for treason, as long as you keep defending tyrants, you will only have tyranny. Guys, have a good night. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. Be strong. Stand up. Speak out.